Hey guys, welcome back, and this video is going to be a little harsh for anybody who's a big fan of the Disney Star Wars era. So if you're thinking that Disney Star Wars is the best thing to ever happen to the franchise, you're probably not going to love this video, so just disclaimer ahead of time. But the reality is, Disney Plus and Star Wars collectively have not made Disney a whole lot of money. If we're being fair about it, this article from Forbes came out 3 days ago, and Caroline Reed from Forbes does an excellent job breaking down basically the financial situation Disney has gotten themselves into. Long and the short of it, I'll just summarize it for you. Disney Plus, over the last 4 years, has lost Disney over $11 billion. And according to WDW Pro over at that Park Place, if you combine this with the estimated cost of paying off the Comcast Hulu acquisition and everything else wrapped into it, Disney has actually sunk $30 billion. Sorry, not sunk. They have lost $30 billion in 4 years off of acquiring Disney Plus. Basically, because they decided to bundle Hulu with it to make the numbers look better. Long and the short of it is, it's cost them far more than they'd like to actually report. So a lot of this stems from the fact that Star Wars and Disney Plus, that was kind of like their bread and butter. They were going to put the two together and make this amazing product that everybody had to have. Unfortunately for them, it has gotten mocked and roasted and dissected all to hell, and people are just kind of sick of it. You probably remember from last year when South Park did their Panderverse episode, completely slaughtering Kathleen Kennedy, roasting her over the fire when it came to how she has handled the diversity and inclusivity push that you see over at Star Wars, at Lucasfilm. And of course, we have seen responses from the fans about shows like Obi-Wan that very few people actually watched or enjoyed. And then, of course, Disney came out and decided to call all the fans that didn't like it racists. You had the horrible, absolutely deplorable ratings for Ahsoka, another show that very few people actually turned out and watched, a show that had less viewership than the season 3 finale of The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian is a busted show. It's practically a dead show at this point. The Book of Boba Fett and season 3 of The Mandalorian pretty much, I think, sunk Star Wars for Disney Plus. It's virtually a dead franchise at this point. And then, of course, we have this thing about The Acolyte, this new TV show that's supposed to be coming soon for Disney Plus from Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former assistant, where she described it as Frozen meets Kill Bill, whatever the heck that actually means. That was her pitch for the TV series, which is supposed to retcon and erase the Jedi and the Force from the Star Wars universe, featuring a cast of mostly female characters, and where good and evil is supposed to be a fluid idea, and the Force is all about power and who gets to use it, not about good and evil anymore. Of course, you can't forget that they had the Disney Star Wars Star Cruiser, which was a $400 million experiment that flopped. And even across like the video game sphere, you have their Knights of the Old Republic remake, which has still not actually happened, despite the fact that Saber Interactive is saying the game is still alive. We don't have a game yet. There's still no real actual concrete evidence that this thing exists. On top of that, you have this recent controversy over the Star Wars Outlaws game, which we've covered on the gaming channel, and it is a colossal mess, full of issues from top to bottom, from the pricing to the look of the character to basically just not having much appeal for the general audience. Now, what I've seen today, and I'm not sure if this clip is from today or from a previous show, Joe Rogan, who I'm not the biggest fan of, I'll be honest, I am not like some Joe Rogan sycophant. I have never watched a whole episode. All I watch are clips. That's how I consume it. Like on Twitter, I'll see a 30-second clip of Joe Rogan and that's it. But he had this guest, Matt Serra, on his show. And this is absolutely, it blew my mind listening to these guys talk about it. So they're discussing Star Wars and the problems with what current Star Wars, the shape that it's in. So I'm just going to go ahead and play and let you guys listen for yourselves.
I'm sick of this woke shit. Yeah, and let me tell you loud and clear, I am sick of what.
Yeah, just a forewarning. There's a lot of cursing in this first part, just FYI.
They did the fucking Star.
To tell Joe and the other guy on here basically what Ahsoka was and what the whole idea and the premise for it was. But then he goes on an analysis of the problem with Ezra's character. Okay, given the fact that he's supposed to be a Jedi and he's supposed to again completely nails the fact that they can't have Ezra be the man on the show. They have to have him subservient to the women, and it just puts it on this. You gotta think about this stage. The Joe Rogan Experience has millions of people that see clips like this across the world. So this puts this into like the normie sphere of awareness, when people who just didn't really care and they weren't thinking about Star Wars too much, and they go, oh, I'll just watch the new movie or the new show whenever it's out. These are moments where they're going to start realizing, wait, why did they do that? What was the agenda behind that? What was the meaning behind all that, right? And there's one more moment I want to talk about right here. Honest to God, that's how most of us feel at this point. And again, I understand that there's going to be somebody who watches this and says, well, I liked Ahsoka, or I liked the Obi-Wan show. Fine, you're allowed to like it. That's okay. I'm not saying you can't like it. But the reality is, people are waking up to the fact that, wait, what are you doing? What are these choices you're making? What's the meaning behind it? Why are you guys doing this to these characters? Why are you changing the things that we've come to expect? And why do you feel the need to suddenly like make excuses for how we used to do things and say, well, no, we have to change how things are done because that just doesn't work for that modern audience that we're supposedly chasing, that supposedly exists, and yet they don't show up to the movie theaters. They don't spend their money. They don't have Disney Plus. I mean, think about it this way. That movie, that magical black people movie, $2.4 million, 3 weeks in the theater, and they pulled the plug. So again, if you're going to chase that modern audience, you better be sure as hell that they have money and that they're actually going to show up. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this down below, and I will catch you on the next one. All right, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.